What's up everyone? This is a MacBook Pro 14-inch A3112 2024 M4 keyboard replacement. That's a lot of words to say all at once. And this video is super long, and this repair is for advanced people only because it is extremely difficult. But if you follow this guide, you'll be able to do it. So first, grab out your 4PL screwdriver and remove all the screws from the bottom. Perfect. Once all the screws are removed, I like to grab a metal pry tool and pry right on the edge where there's a hole for where the speaker is. And you'll grab out this iFixit jimmy and slide your tool directly underneath it. And I struggled getting mine underneath it. Eventually I did get it underneath, and then you give it a good old twist. Once you hear a pop, that means you released one of the brackets underneath the bottom case. Work your way around the bottom side, and then there's gonna be little brackets on each corner, kind of in the middle, and then you are twisting your tool and popping it, and then you can slide off the bottom cover. It's just like all the other MacBooks before this one. Especially if you're doing this repair, I would think that you've taken apart some sort of older MacBook to be able to repair something so in depth. There's a lot of things to know for this repair, and also a lot of screws to unscrew. So get ready to unscrew everything. But first, we'll disconnect the battery, which is this connection right here in red, and we'll get the battery disconnected with a plastic spudger. Now it's not fully disconnected yet. You'll want to grab out a T3 screwdriver and remove these two screws holding down the trackpad connection that has a T5 screw holding down the main battery connection. Remove the one T5 screw holding down the battery connection, and lift it up gently. Now, once all those screws are removed, you can remove more screws. All these T3 screws holding down the brackets that are holding down all the connections. Please, if you find my guide helpful, like and subscribe. Always. I just wanted to make sure I tell you that reminder. Thank you for watching my video, and just keep unscrewing everything. Remove the T5 screws right here on the top, the hinge covers, and also the Wi-Fi antenna. Grab out your star bit or P2 screwdriver bit and remove the screws over the Wi-Fi antenna. Before we unscrew anything else, we will grab out our plastic spudger and go on a disconnecting frenzy and disconnect all the connections with our flat end of our plastic spudger. I still can't believe I'm embarking on this repair. It better work because it's so much work to take this thing apart. And I feel like I should charge more for this repair because it was a lot of work. But the one thing that really stinks is I got the part from Apple and the part was like $500, which is insane for just a part. For a $500 part for how much work you have to put in, I feel like they should make it a little cheaper because you have to put so much effort into replacing the top case keyboard replacement. You don't replace just the keyboard, you do the top case along with the keyboard because it's just a better quality repair at the end of the repair. Now that everything is disconnected and we carefully disconnected everything successfully, especially the Touch ID connection, you'll grab out a screwdriver. For blue is T5 screwdriver, yellow is the T6 screwdriver, and green is the T3 screwdriver, and remove all these screws to take out the logic board. If this repair is looking a little bit lengthy and too complicated for you to do, you can always email me, mark@worthItRepairs.com, and we can have you ship in your device and I'll repair it for you and make sure it's worth it and working. Now that all the screws are removed, we can grab our flat end of our plastic spudger and lift up on the board on the right side, and then push all the connectors out of the way, and it gets stuck on this sticky stuff on the heat sink, and you want to make sure you get that out of the way, but make sure you push all the connections out of the way so you don't snag on it while you're pulling off the board. You'll lift it up from the right here and watch the video, and you'll see how I remove it. Putting it back in is a whole different story. Perfect, we got the logic board removed. Now it's time to take out the screen. Your screw tray should look something like this, and if you don't remember where to put them back in, I'll have timestamps in my video so it guides you on how to put the screws back in. So first off, to get the screen off, you'll want to put the screen or open the computer on the ledge of your table, and then grab out a T8 screwdriver, remove the 6 screws from the hinges, and you can simply lift off the screen. Just watch it right here in the video. Perfect. Once all the screws are removed, you can lift out the screen just like that. Voila! Comes off nice and easy. While we have this taken apart so far, let's take a look at the new part and check out what we have to move over in the underneath. That's going to be underneath the logic board. So we'll dive into that right now. And I got my part from Apple's self-service repair program. I have a link about it in my description below. Mobilecentrics.com doesn't have the part available just yet, but it's very expensive if you have to replace it. If you're using the part where I supply you the link in my description, please leave me a super thanks in my comments below. It'd be so much appreciated if you gave me a contribution to my channel for helping you find where to get the part to do this repair and showing you how to do it. So one thing you want to watch out for is you're going to have to replace the power button and Touch ID and all these connectors right here on the edge, along with the fan. And you don't want to break Touch ID when you take it out, so be very careful taking out the power button. Before we get too far into that, we'll remove the charge port. And there's 2 T5 screws holding it down that aren't magnetized, so you'll have to use some tweezers to pick them up and put them in your screw tray. And then a T3 screwdriver right on the edge of the frame. They're kind of hidden, and you'll want to just unscrew those and keep track of them because they're one-of-a-kind screws. Dang it, Apple! Remove the T5 screws from the USB-C port, the aux port, and so on, just so they're all T5 screws. Once all the screws are removed, you can grab out a plastic spudger and push off the Touch ID connector over top of this bracket. And I actually unscrewed the bracket and then removed the bracket from the Touch ID connector, the flex cable, and I should have done it the other way. So anyways, you guys can learn from my mistakes, which is nice that I'm the first one to probably do this repair in the whole wide world. Oh yeah, just to tell you that it's a T3 screwdriver screws that are holding down the Touch ID power button. T3 screws, there's gonna be 8 of them. There's 8 of them. Be very careful with this part. It is the part that is attached to Touch ID. If it breaks or rips the ribbon cable while you do this, you'll end up losing Touch ID forever, as far as I know. You might be able to buy the part from Apple and then calibrate it some way, but I'm not quite sure if you can do that or not, so I'm going to say if it breaks, you lost Touch ID forever. Now to put it back in, you'll lift up the top case, a new one, and then slide in the flex cable on the left side of the holes that you would put the cable through. And then you'll have to hold it in place while putting the bracket on it, holding the bracket, and then also get little tiny T3 screws onto it. This part could be really frustrating, but just keep trying and try again, and eventually you'll get it on. Patience is key here. You want to be as careful as possible putting this part back in. Remember, you do not want to break it. Once all the screws are installed, make sure you click the power button to make sure it clicks, because if it doesn't click and you put all the work into replacing the part, then you'll have to undo so many steps. So make sure it clicks. Now we'll put the fan back in as T3 screws and T5 screws holding it down, and then we'll put in all the ports like the charge port and the USB-C ports and the aux port. Now for putting in the MagSafe charge port. The thing is magnetized, so you'll have to use some bended tweezers and hold the screw while you screw it in to screw it in properly. Otherwise it'll go flying like it did in the video. Alright, you think taking the board out is hard? Try putting it back in. So we'll push all the connectors out of the way and grab a flat end of our plastic spudger to push the connections out of the way. The fan connection is one that gets stuck. Sometimes what I recommend if you're struggling a lot with this is tape down the connections. Use painter's tape and tape down the connections so then they're out of the way and you're able to get the logic board back in. Now, so I recommend screwing down a couple screws, connect all the connections on, and make sure you give it a good test. But the one thing is, since I was making this video, I decided to put it all the way back together. Anyways, I recommend testing it before you get too far into this repair, because then you'll have to go back 1,000 steps or something like that. So anyways, I don't recommend fully putting it together knowing that it will work or not. Now you can carefully connect all the connectors, and then if it doesn't connect, don't force it down because you don't want to break the FBC connectors. What you'll want to do is make sure it sits flush to the connection, then push it down, and once you got it connected, and if you can't get it connected, you might have to unscrew some of the board and then kind of push the board around to make sure it's gonna connect on flush. Alright, we got all that installed. We're going to put on the screen next. So put it up against the edge of your table and then pull the flex cables out of the way and lay the screen down on its hinges. It will just snap in perfectly. Most people don't know this, but actually the Apple website has guides on how to repair the MacBook, which are just pictures that you can go through, which is kind of nice. But the one thing is it's not in the steps you need to take to do this repair. It just shows you how to take things out individually and not exactly for this repair. So that's why I decided I would make this guide, and I'm happy it's turning out like a full-length video. So thank you guys for watching my video. Now we'll put the Wi-Fi antenna in. But don't do this. Put the hinge covers on first over top of the hinges, then put the Wi-Fi antenna on. I had to go back and redo my work at the end of the repair when I was putting those hinge covers on, and I had to take it off and put it back on, and that was a waste of my time, and I hope you don't make my mistakes. So make sure you put those hinge covers on before you put the Wi-Fi antenna back in. Now let's remove the trackpad. So grab a T5 screwdriver out and unscrew all these screws highlighted in blue. There we go. There's these brackets on the trackpad. You do not want to dump it on the floor or flip it over or anything, because those little brackets will fall off and disappear. If you bought the part from Apple, it comes with spare parts like those, so you could use those, but I just take them off the, or just like leave them on. You don't have to take them off, but if you lose them, at least you have them, because it makes the trackpad click. We're going to connect on this battery connector that came with the part, because knowing Apple, you'll have to use it for some reason. So we're going to put it in just because it came with the part. But I don't know if you can take it from the original battery and put it on and it work fine. It probably should. Anyways, we're going to give this thing a test and screw in the battery connection, and we got everything connected. To turn it on, you'll need to plug it into a charger and give it a test. And I don't show the testing in the video, but I want to recommend you to test it. So you'll grab a charger and flip it over and then plug it in, and then it will turn on, hopefully. And luckily for this repair, it won't show you any sort of part message or there is anything paired. The only thing paired is Touch ID, and just don't break it. Perfect, it worked. So we'll grab our T3 screwdriver after we disconnected the battery already and screw in all the brackets. So if you made it this far, then I think you can put it back together. So I'm just going to speed up this part of the video. And you guys, if you want to join my Discord channel, you can post your repairs in my Discord, and it's on my channel. So join the Discord and post your repairs. Thank you for watching. Yo, worth the repairs in the house. Worth the repairs, worth the repairs. Subscribers, let's go. Yo, I'm the Encryption King, master hacker on the scene, fixing busted tech while I'm sipping caffeine. Cracked iPhone screen, fix that quick.